Hi everybody, welcome back to Resin Rainbows. As you can see, we're going to do a red day today. I have this cute little mold here that makes a little trinket box. It's already been pre-painted so that you guys didn't have to wait 2 days for that to be done. I've had some resin mixed up with some red pigment powder added in. It is the Eye Candy Red, which is here. It is the Akai Tsuki Red. We're going to be using some red glitter from Walmart. It is the Ruby Red glitter. We'll be using that shortly. The mold here was painted with the Let's Resin Plum Chameleon Powder, the Let's Resin Intense Dark Green Chameleon Powder, and the Let's Resin Gold Chameleon Powder to highlight the roses. Now we're going to pour it in red, and that will make my roses red. This was also painted with the plum. And after we pour this, we will be adding some glue and some glitter, and we will be pouring the shoe mold. My inspiration for this is the Ruby Red slippers from the Wizard of Oz. I did go ahead and paint the bow with the red, the Tsuki, the Eye Candy Red that is in here, because I don't want it to have glitter in it, but I want the rest of the shoe to be glittered. So that's what we are doing today. So this is just kind of sitting and degassing a little bit as it did just get done mixing. I'm not sure how much these take. I believe the shoe took about 5 ounces and the trinket box took somewhere between 6 and 8. So I have mixed up 14, which is definitely more than what we're going to need, but that's okay. I have some stuff off to the side that I can pour into to use that up. But we're going to start off with the base here. We'll go ahead and I'm just going to slowly pour down into the middle here until I get it about halfway up here. And you can kind of see through this mold to see where everything's going. So I'm going to stop right there. And I just want to make sure that I just give it a little bit of a squish here. Make sure there's no bubbles. We don't want bubbles. So we'll get those all worked out. I want to be a little bit careful since I do have that powder painted in there. I don't want that to come off into my resin. I want it to stay where it's at. All right, and now we'll just go ahead and we will top this off. This should be a pretty short video today. All right, and I am going to dome that just a little bit. There we go. Because resin does tend to shrink as it heats and cures. So we want it domed just a little bit so that that stays flat. Now you can see I did get a little bit of powder in here when I was mixing this. I was putting it in while it was on my mixer, which is toward the back here. And I did get a little powder there, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Hopefully it'll just highlight the rose there a little bit. But this one we are going to, I don't really want to do this because of the paint in there, but we're going to spray just a little bit of alcohol. And then we're going to pour very, very slowly in here and just kind of give that time to get into all those little nooks and crannies. And once we get up to the top here, we'll kind of squish it around a little bit. Try to poke it a little bit. I can't do too much with it being with the roses having the paint in there, but we'll definitely try to hit it with our silicone tool just a little bit. And I just want to pour that nice and slow, give everything time to work in there. The goal, of course, is no bubbles, and since I don't have a debubbler, we have to do what we can do to keep them out this way. Nice and slow. Okay, we're not quite all the way up yet, but I want to hit that last row of petals. There we go. not all the way up, but I do want to kind of tap it some, make sure there's no bubbles down in there. Squeeze maybe a little bit, especially these here. We do have that one clear down here in the bottom too. I do like to kind of tilt it, get it up in those leaves a little bit. Not something you have to do. I just noticed that sometimes it just kind of helps to coat it just a little bit. I don't see any bubbles coming up. Now I will hit that with a silicone tool as well. Oh, excuse me. Choked on my coffee shortly before starting the video. But I couldn't wait because my resin was getting warm. All right, and we're going to dome this one too just a little bit. And I will keep an eye on it for any bubbles that come up. Now we do have 6 ounces left in here. So I'm going to add quite a bit of this glitter, because we definitely want that shoe to sparkle just like Dorothy's did. And get our little spatula here and slowly mix that in. And once we get that all mixed in, we will use the Daniel Cooper trick with adding some Elmer's school glue. I choose to use the clear. I have recently seen where some artists are using the white, and it seems to work as well because I believe it dries clear. So they are having success with that. I've just always used the clear, so I didn't have to worry about that. But use whatever you have available. And this is, for any of those not in the US, this is considered a PVC glue. So, because I know in the UK and places like that, they have PVC glue rather than Elmer's. And they're the same. All right, and we're just going to open our glue here. And since I have 6 ounces left, I'm going to add 6 drops. Oh, let me get that dried glue off the top there so we can. Just a quick squeeze. That looks like about 6 drops. Might be a little more, but that's all right. What's left in here is all going into the shoe anyway. So now we're just going to make this all gloopy by mixing it in. Oh yeah. We want that nice and thick. That will help suspend that extra fine glitter so that it doesn't all drop to the bottom. Or in this case, it'll be the top of the shoe. Okay. See how nice and slow that runs? That's what we want. Nice and slow. Even when we wipe it down the side, it takes its time getting back down there to the rest of it. Let's set my spatula over here. Now we'll bring our shoe over. And again, I don't want bubbles. I'm going to fill it up part way, and then I'm going to squeeze it some and make sure that we can get any air pockets out. But I'm also going to just kind of pour it slow here on the base, and this will allow it to slowly go down into the heel. Now this is, honestly, it's just a little trinket tray, really. It's got this opening in it, so it doesn't hold as much as it looks. And because I don't want to have to trim too much, I did use a couple of craft sticks here with a clamp to clamp this piece closed. It just helps then to make it so that not as much resin gets in there. We'll still get some and have to trim it a little, but it won't be quite as bad. Now I'm just squishing here, making sure that there's no bubbles down in here, that anything stuck to the silicone works its way up. I'll do that a couple of times while pouring it, especially since this is so thick with that glue in there. We just want to make sure that we get out as many bubbles as we can and get it going up. We also don't want to run it down the side like that, but we want to get it going up this heel in the back. And again, just kind of making sure there's no bubbles there. Tap in. What is it? Daniel Cooper says squidgy widgy in. So we're going to squidgy widgy it a little bit. Now, I did notice that my heel sometimes seems to be a bit lower than the sole of my shoe, and that's okay. It still comes out just fine. But I like to really watch that heel and make sure I'm not overflowing it. When I filled this with water to measure how much it took, I noticed that it came out of the heel well before anywhere else. So just pour it. And I can see where some of it is coming in between there, but that should be such a thin layer that it'll be really, really easy to cut it or trim it off after we're done. We won't have to worry about it being so thick that we can't do anything, and we don't have to worry about that spreading apart and being full like the heel and the sole. Now, I do notice this is a little bit thicker, so it seems like we are able to dome our heel on this one. And I am just going to put a drop or two over here to make sure that this is domed up pretty well too. And it will equal itself out too, so you don't have to do that. All right, there we go. And we do have about an ounce left. So I will scrape that off into some molds over here, and we will be back when it's time to demold. See y'all soon. All right, welcome back. I did want to hop back on here real quick and just show you that I am taking my silicone tool and just kind of lightly tapping at the bottom of this, just to make sure that if there are any bubbles, that they're not trapped in those flower petals. Even though we did this really, really slow and tried to make sure that there was no air in there, I still want to just kind of hit those a little bit. I'm not going to do anything with this, but I do want to hit these flowers just to make sure, because they're so intricate that they will trap bubbles just about everywhere. Now, I'm really just kind of tapping straight down. I'm not really swiping anything, because I don't want to knock any of my paint off anywhere. And of course, with the red in here, I can't see my paint, but I know I have it down in all of those bubbles there. So I just want to hit that really, really quickly and get any of those trapped air bubbles out. So, and in about an hour, I will let this sit and degas for a little while. Cleaned off my little tool there. And then in about an hour, I will turn on my heat mat to help this cure a little bit faster, so that hopefully we can come back to this tonight instead of waiting until tomorrow. There is a heat mat under here. I think you can kind of see the edge of it here. It's just a cheap one for now. I will be ordering a better one. But everything is, you know, I'm just starting out, so everything is not the latest and greatest. It's what I can afford for now. So anyway, we will let these sit, and in an hour we will turn on the heat mat. I will double check and make sure that this is actually moved to here so that it's on the heat mat, because yeah, it's half off right now. So I will move this to here. There we go. And then, like I said, in about an hour, we'll turn the heat mat on, get everything cured through, and hopefully we can on-mold later on tonight. So I will be back when they're ready. See you soon. Hi, everybody. I'm back. My husband on-molded everything, so as you can see, it's all covered. I've not seen it yet, so who's excited to see what these look like? I'm excited. I'm going to assume that this is the shoe because it is the tallest. So let's start there. I see the mold. Move the mold out of the way. Oh, that turned out really good. I love it. These, it's so funny because these are the same color red. All I did was add glitter to this one, but that bow looks so different. I don't know if you can see the difference or not. There you go. Oh, it does have a little bit of trimming that I need to do here in just a little bit. But that's super soft, so I probably peel that right off later. Oh yeah, that'll peel right off. Hopefully we can get that real close and get that all peeled off and cleaned up. That turned out really super cute. Okay, and here is... I love him. Here is our container with the roses, our little rose trinket box. That is super cute too. I think I like it when I do the gold afterwards. It tends to get a little bit muted when you pour color in there. Same with my leaves. They kind of turn purple instead of green. That's okay. It's still very, very cute. I still really like that. Nice little trinket box for putting some stuff in. Love it. So, give me just 1 minute and I poured some picture frames off camera. I did one with gold mixed into my resin. I then painted 2 others, and I am backing one with clear and one with black, and I will lay them out here and we will compare them. So give me a few minutes to clear this off and pull those over, and I'll be right back and we'll compare those. See you soon. Okay, I'm back. For this experiment, I did use the Let's Resin Intense Chameleon Powder in the color of gold. I used it all, but not to worry. I'll be ordering some more because I do use this a lot. I essentially did 3 picture frames with their stands. I have them stacked here to show you the difference in how the chameleon powder is used. For this set, the chameleon powder was mixed in to just some clear resin. So as you can see, there's some swirls and looks a bit darker. This one, because this is the intense, you're supposed to be able to use any color behind it. So I used clear here. As you can see, it is a bit see-through. But when we flip it over, that's a really nice gold color. Again, though, still pretty see-through. And for this one, I backed it in black. And again, when we turn it over, nice gold color, but it is not see-through. And so when you compare the color of these two, they're pretty similar, pretty good, except that you have one that is see-through and one that is not. However, when you compare it with this one, it completely changes the color. So that was our experiment with the gold intense chameleon powder, just to kind of show how they work. And these little stands just kind of click together like this. I will admit that I did some other experiments with the picture frames that go in these, and one was a success. So here's the one, again, around the frame where the chameleon powder is mixed in, and then I just used a sticker there to make a nice little Christmas scene. This one is backed in the clear, and I used a rub-on tattoo. However, can't really see my tattoo because I tried to add some glitter to the back to make that stand out, but even white wasn't making it stand out. And then this one, I also used a rub-on tattoo, and I used some black, but again, my tattoo disappeared. I'm going to see what I can do to save these two, probably with something on the front. But that was just, like I said, a little experiment I was doing with these. So not all experiments work, and that's fine. At least we have the holders that are still fine. This one worked out fine. These two, not quite as much. You can kind of see the transfer on here, or the temporary tattoo on here. This one, the temporary tattoo is completely gone because because we backed it in black. In fact, I think it actually goes this way. I'm not sure. Might not be. I don't know. Because that is completely gone. However, I'm going to see if I can find some kind of a sticker or something to put on here and reback it and see if, or reseal it and see if we can save this one. This one I'm not sure what I can do with, but I will play around with it and see if we can't save it somehow. But anyway, there's your comparison on what the intense chameleon powders actually look like using the exact same color just in 3 different ways. Again, this one is mixed in. This one is with clear poured behind. Kind of see-through. Not completely, but somewhat see-through. Oh, this is the clear. I mixed them up. This one is the clear. Again, kind of see-through. Not completely, but pretty see-through there. And then this one is the backed in black. And these two look very similar surface-wise. This one looks completely different. So I hope that helps you in deciding how you're going to mix your intense chameleon powders, because they do work, but they do look totally different when mixed different ways. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.